All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the first goal in the Charlotte FC versus Philadelphia Union match. This one come courtesy by Charlotte's Ashley Westwood. And so, a couple things I want to point out here before we see this goal. We see center back Tim Ream about to receive this pass back. Charlotte being patient, not breaking any lines right here. And right here, as soon as Tim Ream gets on the ball, the first thing you notice there within the first 10 seconds on this video is there's just no pressure on the ball by the Union. And so I have Ezekiel Alado highlighted right here. There's got to be some sort of pressure. You would think, okay, there's no danger right here with Charlotte going side to side, passing back and forth. But they're just waiting for that opportunity. They're waiting for the moment to split the line, to catch the Union out. And so that's exactly what you get when you don't get any pressure. Right behind Alado, you see the midfield four. You have your two outside tens in Vasilev and Alosky to the right, and then centrally you have John Jacques and Jovan Lukic. And then you have your back four with Siri Larson and Nathan Harriel being the two closest players to Wilfred Zaha, who's going to go ahead and receive the pass from Tim Ream. But Toffolo, 15 for Charlotte, he's out of this play. He does not matter on this play. The Union want to keep things nice and compact. You can see that with their shape. But just notice the space between the two defensive midfielders and Danley and Lukic, and then the back line for the Union. It's way too much space right there for Pep Biel. The Union's defensive midfielders are pushed way too high up the field, and so the pass gets played into Wilfred Zaha, and now it's just quick passing here by Charlotte, and it's a tackle one there by Makanya, but the Union can't clear. And it's a free strike for Ashley Westwood. It's a terrific finish to beat Andre Blake in the pouring down rain. But we'll go ahead and get a couple different angles of this goal just to see how the Union really did position themselves, how the midfield never tracked Ashley Westwood to allow him to get so free on this goal. And so again, side-to-side passing, no pressure on the ball. And you look, I talked about it. The space is just way too much here for the Union. It's way too much space from the two defensive midfielders. You have man marking here by the Union. You have Makanya 1v1. You have Siri Larson aware of where Pep Biel is. Nathan Harriel's the closest to Wilfred Zaha. But what's interesting about this play is you're actually going to see Nathan Harriel for a split second try to commit out wide to Toffolo, thinking that's where the pass is going to go from Tim Ream. And it doesn't. And so now he has to go inside. And we look at Ashley Westwood right here. Where's the midfield? The midfield's nowhere to be found. It's just way too much time and space, and Makanya does well to tackle this ball, and unfortunately the Union can't clear that. But look at this. As soon as the Union concede that goal, look how many hands go up, shrugging, pointing at each other, complaining. Siri Larson, Nathan Harriel, John Jacques, all with their hands up, all pointing, all putting blame. How does he get that free? And you can tell from that moment, the body language says it all for this team. Not happy whatsoever. This should never have happened, and it starts with the defense. The defensive midfielders being pushed way too hard on this field, and now tracking the runner. And any good team is going to punish you when you decide not to track the loose runner. All right, so the second goal in this match came courtesy by John Jacques to tie this game up at 1 apiece. And a couple things I want to highlight here on this play before we see the goal in full. You have Frankie Westfield taking the throw in here for the Union. Going to go ahead and find Bruno Damiani, who's going to go ahead and just pull Ajiman, the center back for Charlotte, out of position here. And in doing so, it's going to allow Kevin Sullivan just to drift in across the back line of Charlotte, just take the space that he's given. And so the Union, they retain possession right here. And what you see is Milanilowski in between the two defensive midfielders for Charlotte being occupied by both of them. And Charlotte's going to go ahead and just drift from left to right, go ball side, typical soccer. But with the movement of Milanilowski, he allows Kevin Sullivan just to run freely in between the back line and the defensive midfielders. Nobody tracks him here on this play, so you see Kevin just drifting into space. Into space, Kevin goes, and then the ball gets played into Kevin here. It's good awareness there by Nathan Harriel. Fantastic touch there and finish there by Danley. But that whole play, it starts with Bruno Damiani taking out one center back, Milanilowski creating space for Kevin Sullivan, occupying both defensive midfielders, and then Kevin just having a high soccer IQ to go and attack that space that his teammates left for him. Attacks that space so brilliantly between the back line of Charlotte and the two defensive midfielders. We'll go ahead and see that once again here. But yeah, you can see Nathan Harriel picks out a perfect pass into Kevin Sullivan. It's a great touch there by Kevin. Terrific finish. But yeah, what I love about that play is Nathan Harriel. He's looking for this pass. You see the space for Kevin Sullivan just to run into. Nobody's tracking Kevin. The two defensive midfielders have let Milanilowski go. They're going to let Adjumang go ahead and defend him. But one of the defensive midfielders has to follow Kevin Sullivan. And Nathan Harriel's aware. He sees it. Nobody does. And so Kevin, lots of space there between the back line and the defensive midfielders. It's a great pass in by Nathan Harriel. But then as soon as Kevin flicks this on, it's also good positioning, a good run from Danley John Jacques. You get the flick on, and then Danley, one side, barely, but he is one side. And the control is ridiculous here by Danley. It's a great touch, a great finish. He brings that down so well. And it's such a well-timed play. I mean, the touch is class. A lot of pace on that flick on. And Danley does so well just to bring it down, control it, and then it's a tidy little finish there. So the third and final goal in this match comes courtesy by Charlotte's Wilfried Zaha in the 80th minute. Essentially, right after the Union score a goal, Charlotte go right back down in the Union's half and score and take the lead in this game. And so Charlotte have the kickoff, and Siri Larson's just going to go ahead and try to win this ball back. Nathan Harriel tries to win the ball back, but what doesn't make a whole lot of sense right here for me is you have three players for the Union trying to win this ball at half field. You have two defensive midfielders in Jesus Bueno and Jovan Lukic. Nathan Harriel, look at him positionally here on this play at the center line for the Union. And Charlotte do a good job just to go ahead and switch this over to the right side. Again, look at Nathan Harriel on your screen. Lost his runner's in front of him. And so that's already going to create a 4v3 for Charlotte. Nobody's closing out the wide guy for Charlotte. Frankie Westfield thinks he has this defender fine. And then just a ball towards the back post. First time finish. Wilfried Zaha, how he's left that unmarked really doesn't make a lot of sense. The player that was closest to him was Siri Larson, and he's looking around, checking on Zaha's positioning. He's aware that he's around him, but he just completely loses track. Is he expecting Nathan Harriel to be on the back post? Potentially. But we'll look at that again. There was no need for the Union to have 3 players try to win the ball at midfield. Nathan Harrier was pushed up high on the play, late getting back. And so now the Union have to track. You see Jesus Bueno. Okay, I need to hustle back here. That's fine from Jesus. Can't win the ball at half field, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to track back. Jesus started the game on the bench, aware of how the Union conceded the first goal, nobody tracking back in the midfield. And so at least he does track back. Picks up the space here. You look, it's 1v1 defending. You have Frankie Westfield with the guy at wide. You have Macania centrally. And then you have Siri Larson, who you can see there, I think, on the video, looking over his shoulder to his left, seeing Zaha. So you have your defenders 1v1. Siri Larson looking towards ball and not aware that Zaha stopped his run. Not aware at all. And it's a ball floated, and then it's a easy finish there. Hands go up once again by the Union players. But that's all. Siri Larson, for just losing Zaha, was clearly aware of him. But last minute, loses him, and Charlotte get the game-winning goal. So let's go ahead and take a look at some chances by the Union in this game. And honestly, there wasn't a ton of meaningful chances in this game for the Union. I would argue this first chance that we're going to see here, which was finished well by Olaski, but it was ruled for offsides. I would say, other than the goal, this was the Union's best chance on the night. And so it starts with Frankie Westfield on the ball, going to play this up top for Bruno Damiani, who draws 2 players towards him. Brings Ajamang, one of the 2 center backs for Charlotte, out of position, and then Diani, one of the 2 defensive midfielders. He's also occupied with Bruno Damiani. And Damiani goes wide to Vasilev, but this is exactly what you want to see from your center forward. You want to see the center forwards pull players out of position. And because of the attention that Damiani demanded, it allows Milan Olaski, highlighted number 10 on your screen here, just to run free down the middle. Nobody, none of the defensive midfielders follow him. And clearly, you can see Olaski offsides there from the pass from Indiana Vasilev. But look, this is what the Union have tried to do so many times over the years. And they've been successful at it. We haven't seen runs in behind that often for the Union. It's something that Bradley Cornell's talked about in his press conferences, wanting runs in behind. And that's exactly what you see here with Olaski. The Union don't get a lot of space like this. They haven't had a lot of space like this through the middle of the field. And then it's just late there by Vasilev. But you thought this would be positives for the Union. Good things to come. And that really wasn't the case. And so right here, you're going to see Bruno Damiani have a chance. Ball gets played out wide there to Olaski. It's a great cross in, and then the acrobatic attempt there by Damiani. Not too far off from hitting the net, but space and time. Space and time for Olaski to go ahead and take the touch, lift his head, and it's a good run by Bruno Damiani. In between the 2 center backs for Charlotte, and then it's who wants this more? Who's the more physical player? Damiani wins that duel. Just unable to put that one on target, but it was a huge chance for the Union right at the start of the second half. So sticking with chances in the second half for the Union, we'll go ahead and look at a couple more. We'll see this chance, though. Again, it's just winning your battle. Who wants it more? Who's more physical? It's a good cross in there by Olaski. Just unfortunate that Damiani can't hit the net. Right here, another ball played forward in, and it's a tight shot there on target. First in the second half for the Union, this chance. Union struggled 65 minutes into the game to get a shot on target. And so the ball gets played back out to Jesus Bueno. Again, where's the midfield for Charlotte? Non-existent. Pretty heavily occupied in the 18-yard box for the Union. You see 3 players inside the 18 for the Union, and Union get a little bit of help here because it deflects off for Ashley Westwood, and that's tight space though for Lasky to operate. 3 players around him. He's able to touch that, bring it down, and then quickly lift his head, know where target is, and it's a good save there by Kalina, which, yeah, Lasky hits it centrally, but again, to be in that type of space and be able to get that shot on target, it's a good attempt by Lasky. Right here, we see a set piece opportunity for the Union. It's going to fall to Jesus Bueno. Long throw into the box from Frankie Westfield. Gets cleared away, not so fast, but easy save there by Kalina. Those shots on target, positive for the Union. They were building in the second half. Ball gets played out wide here to Ndinga, and it's a great cross into Kevin Sullivan. But I do want to see that maybe a couple more times. A lot of time in space. Union had runners into the box. If Kevin leaves this, look at Korzanowski. He's in space. Does he have a better opportunity to put this header on target if Kevin leaves that? He believes so. Wanted Kevin to leave that, but this play happens so quickly, and it's a huge chance. Unfortunate Kevin can't find the target there, but Korzanowski makes the right run, pulls back in space. Just unfortunate for him. The ball doesn't come to him because Kevin Sullivan rises for the header first.